sir.
You know, now you give self-introduction about our resource person.
A very good
You know?
afternoon. Okay, sir.
Okay. Hmm.
A very good afternoon, one and all present here. It's my honor to introduce today's afternoon session resource person, Dr. A. Basila Banu, ma'am. Our resource person, Dr. A. Basila Banu, has completed her BE from Mohammed Sadak Engineering College, Keelakarai, in the year 1999, and ME from Tyagarajar College of Engineering, Madurai, in the year 2004, and also completed her PhD in Information and Communication Engineering in the year 2015. She has totally 16 years teaching experience, and also she has 3 years industry experience. She has published totally 11 journals, 3 international journals, and 7 in international conferences, and 1 in national conference. Her funded project, she acted as co-principal investigator for Maragadam scheme worth rupees 18 lakhs funded by AICTE New Delhi, and also she granted rupees 62,250 by National Commission for Women for the National Conference organized on 15 March 2019. Then consultancy San Compute India Private Limited, the project name Industrial Internet of Things. Then now she acted advisory board member of International Association of Data Science Asia Pacific University, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Then now she is on guest editor of Journal of Computational and Theoretical Nanoscience. Once again, we welcome you, ma'am.
Now the session is hand over to Basila, madam. Resource.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the nice introduction. So I like to thank all the professors for joining with me for this nice session. So this is Dr. Basila Banu, working as professor at Banariaman Institute of Technology. So for today's session, we are going to discuss about the computer vision. It is mainly object detection techniques, and later on data visualization. A few things related to data visualization. So first of all, I start with the computer vision. So first of all, I share my screen. One of you please confirm whether the screen is visible. So in between, if you have any queries, please type in the chat box. At the end of the session, we can have a formal discussion session. So hope my screen is visible. Anyone of you could you please confirm?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Pa. Thank you so much. So let me start with computer vision. So I have selected how to do computer vision with OpenCV. Although there are a lot of packages available in Python, I just started with OpenCV because OpenCV is completely open source library. So you can download any type of libraries that comes under OpenCV. That's why I selected OpenCV as the choice for doing computer vision. So this is the agenda. We are going to discuss about how to work with images and how to draw with using OpenCV, and how to detect edges, faces, as well as eye detection. And if I pass a video file, how to detect the objects. So these are all the things first we are going to discuss. You can consider this as a hands-on session. If you have Google Colab, you can open the Colab and you can start working with me also. So basically, what is a computer vision? That is the main thing we need to know. Computer vision is a field of multiple disciplines that care about how computers can gain from high-level understanding of digital images and video. That is, you are going to feed a digital image or video as the input, but the system needs to understand what are the objects that lies behind the image as well as the video. So this is the basic thing behind computer vision. So system will identify. That is why the name coined as computer vision. Similar to human being, system should identify the type of the object. So it is just an attempt to automate a task, whatever the human being are doing. So whatever the human visual system is doing, the same thing needs to be replicated when we apply computer vision. So that is the main thing. And it's a complete process of acquiring, processing, analyzing, and understanding the digital images, as well as you can extract the high dimensional data from the real world. It means that if you feed input as a video, either it may be from the webcam or CCTV camera or any type of video files you are feeding, you should able to extract the high dimensional data from the video file. So that is the main motivation behind it. So basically you are going to analyze the objects or digital images present inside the video. That is the ultimate aim of this computer vision. So what are the tasks that we can do it with computer vision? Means we can perform recognition, that is recognizing an object, either it is a car, mobile, or a person. Like that we should be able to recognize what kind of object it is. Second one, motion analysis. Rather than identifying a static object, if an object moves around the video, right, you should be able to identify whether a human being is crossing or a particular kid is playing. Like that you should be able to identify what kind of activity they are doing, right? So that is called as motion analysis. Scene reconstruction. You should be able to change the particular frame present in the video file, and you can construct another new frame by using the vision technique. Then image restoration. That is, if you want to perform restoration related process, that you can do it with the help of computer vision. So these are all the major tasks that you can do it with the help of this technique. So what type of fields that is related to computer vision? So you can apply computer vision in artificial intelligence techniques. Other than artificial intelligence, there are multiple fields that is available. One such field is called the solid state physics. So here they are applying computer vision techniques to identify the objects. Then in statistics, optimization, and geometry theory, they are applying signal processing, neurobiology. So these are all the other fields where computer vision technique is applied. And probably the fine applications of computer vision, that is, if anyone is like to do projects or research work related to computer vision, then they can select any one of these applications, like automatic inspection in manufacturing applications. That is, in industry, if you want to manufacture how the process is happening, rather than keeping a human being as a supervisor to monitor the whole process, you can apply the computer vision, how many products has been manufactured at a particular time, and what is the quality of the product. Everything can be inspected with this technique. Then assisting humans in identification task. Example, species identification systems. In that field also you can apply. Then controlling process, that is industrial robots. They are applying computer vision. That is that particular robot will identify a product has been produced in a good quality or in a bad quality. That can be determined with computer vision. And detecting events, that is, in a video surveillance camera, if you want to detect any anomaly occurrences, any abnormal happenings, that can be done. Interaction, that is input to the device for computer human interaction. That is, if you want to identify what kind of task is happening, whether a person is moving a mouse or clicking a keyboard, like that, if you want to identify the type of interaction, that is also possible. Modeling object environments. Example, medical imaging analysis. This has a wide application recently. The CT scan, they are applying the computer vision techniques to come up with a wonderful report. And navigation, that is autonomous vehicle also, they are applying a computer vision. That is equivalent to human being. They are able to identify whether the roads are free and whether it is possible to go in a high speed. So those kind of decision can be made with the help of this technique. And finally, you can do indexing related concepts also. So most of the people will not come under this. Indexing, it means that if you want to index image related concepts, for example, if you want to keep a dictionary for storing all the images, so here you can go with such kind of indexing. So when you come across with Byju's company, nowadays they are handling smart this video online classes. So they are applying computer vision techniques for performing these online classes. Whenever an object comes, if a teacher says that this is an apple, automatically an apple from the database is retrieved and it is displayed in the video. So they are not doing any editing, nothing. They are just applying computer vision techniques. So whatever the word that comes from the teacher's voice, that is automatically recognized by the system. And if a teacher says it's a car, the car object will be displayed in the video. So wonderfully, they are applying this particular technique, especially Byju's, and most of the companies, they start to use this kind of computer vision for handling online classes interactively. So these are the few applications of computer vision. So for computer vision, we are going to discuss about how OpenCV helps us. Although there are a lot of things available in Python like PyCharm, there are a lot of packages available. You can still work with all those packages. In addition to that, that is, you can go with TensorFlow, Keras frameworks also. But in spite of all these things, OpenCV has got wonderful libraries for implementing computer vision. So what is OpenCV? It means that it's an open source computer vision library and machine learning software library. So you have all type of packages that built inside the OpenCV. So mainly it is used for computer vision as well as machine learning, and as well as you can also do image processing related tasks. So it has built-in 2500 optimized algorithms. So you can easily process the images and videos rather than writing lots and lines of code. You can write only 10 to 15 lines of code to process your images. No need to write lot of code. So you can able to detect face, handwriting, character recognition. You can track all the camera movements. All kind of libraries are directly available in OpenCV. So just install the OpenCV and just pass your image file or video file, whatever you want to detect, and you can able to do wonderful things by using this. So just want to discuss with you the basics of OpenCV. Actually, Gary Bradsky, he started OpenCV at Intel in 1999. Basically, they started this particular language to support for C++, and later on they provided support for Python, and they created integratively called as OpenCV for Python as an API they released. So this OpenCV has been combined with Python as an API part, that is an application programming interface. So now you can use OpenCV for Python separately by installing OpenCV into it. So they have already used NumPy for making this integration. So NumPy and SciPy, which is the basic packages available in your Python, that has been integrated into this OpenCV. So all these basic packages you can use along with OpenCV. So let me show you how to install OpenCV in Python. If you want, please make a note. So able to follow? Anything else? There is voice interruption, anything else, or it's clear?
Very clear, ma'am.
Thank you.
It's clear, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is the installation steps that you want to use. Okay, make sure that you have Python and NumPy installed on your machine. That is, if you want to use OpenCV for Python, basically you need to install Python. You can install any version of Python, that is not a problem. But relevant to the Python version, you have to select the OpenCV. Okay, so you can download the wheel for OpenCV from the link whatever I have given here. So just copy paste this particular link. Excuse me.
Madam,
Yes, sir.
excuse me, madam.
Yes, sir.
The participants also wants to do parallelly with you.
Yes, sir.
They want the link to be posted in the chat box.
Sure, I'll post the link. But they should have proper Python installed. They should have proper Python installed, or else they can go with Google Colab also. So ask them to open Google Colab. And if they click this particular link, just follow my instruction. Otherwise, make a note. Doing side by side is little bit difficult. Just make a note. You will be able to do it, sir. Because downloading and all, it will take time. So please make a note. Later on, you can do it, sir. So this is the link that is available. From this particular link, just identify which particular OpenCV that you want. So based on the Python package that you have to download, so this is the OpenCV. When you type in the link, just type OpenCV, you will have lot of packages. So basically they have given the Python version here, right? So Python 4.4.0, you just click this. And in that, you have to check whether your Windows is 64-bit or 32-bit. Okay. So if it is 64-bit, just click the first link. If it is 32-bit, just click the second link. So based on your Python version, you can select. If your Python is 4.1.2, then go with this. If your Python is 3.1.0, then select this particular thing. So based on your Python version, you just select any one of the link and download it. So I have downloaded and kept it in my folder. So this is the Python OpenCV package that I have downloaded. I think you are able to see. So this is the package. So they call this as a AMD64.wheel WHL file. So okay. So you have to install this particular file. So after downloading, just keep it in your local desktop, and then you are supposed to do the installation. So how to do the installation? That you can do it with the help of the pip install command. So once you have downloaded, just keep the file in your folder. Okay, just keep the file in your any folder. So then you just take the complete path of the file. Okay, so how to take the path of the file? Just go to the properties and you will be able to see the absolute path of your file. Okay, where it is located. So c:/user/del/desktop/fdp. I have this particular file. So you have to provide the complete path of the file in the pip install command. So once you have downloaded successfully, just type the command pip install. Okay. So exclamation symbol, this is the symbol that I have typed in the Colab. Okay. I have opened the Colab. I think you are able to use Colab, right? Any one of you, please confirm you are able to use Colab. Okay. So no need to teach that, right? So directly you can open the Colab, download it and extract it. Then finally you go with pip install command. So now I have used the pip install command, exclamation pip install OpenCV-Python. So you just use this particular thing. This is one way. Otherwise, pip install, you can directly give the complete path of the wheel, whatever we have done. So two ways you can do the installation. So this is one thing. Another one thing is you can directly give the path of the complete wheel, whatever we have done. So just execute this particular line. So it will show you whether the requirements of Python has been properly met. So here the requirement has been properly met. Okay. So it will display requirement already satisfied. OpenCV Python has been properly installed. Otherwise, it will give you some error. Okay, so the command is you can do OpenCV installation in two ways. Either without downloading, directly you can open the Colab and give pip install OpenCV-Python. This is one way. Otherwise, pip install space, you just give the complete absolute path of the wheel file, whatever we have downloaded from the internet. Okay, so by doing this way, you can go ahead with the OpenCV installation. To check whether OpenCV has been properly installed, okay, you just go with the version checking. Okay, so here I have typed import CV2. I'm just using import CV2 command to use all this OpenCV related methods for Python. Okay, so for that I have to import CV2. So CV2, it represents the package that I can use OpenCV for Python. So you are supposed to import CV2. After that, if you want to check whether OpenCV has been successfully installed in Python, just type the command cv2 dot underscore version underscore. Okay, so if you run this particular command, you will be able to get the exact version of the OpenCV. Okay, so now the exact version of OpenCV is 4.1.2. So this is the thing that I have done it. So after installing this particular file, let's go to the basic object detection. Then later on, we can go with the video file. Okay. So after completing all these process, I'm just checking the version. Okay. If you type the CV2 dot underscore version underscore, you will get the version exactly printed. Like for it may be 4.1 or 3.4.3, whatever you are applying, that will be printed here. So this OpenCV version and Python version both are correlated. Okay. So then once you have successfully installed OpenCV, let's see how to read any image for Python. Okay. So for this, you have to use the CV2. So already I have done import CV2. So now you have to use the CV2 object to read your images. So basically the command is cv2.imread, and within the quotes you have to give the JPEG file. Whatever the image file that you want to read, just give it in the single quotes py.jpg. Okay. So this is the thing that you have to give to read a file. So now we have read the file, but if you want to display the file in the window, that is when you want to run the program, you want to display it, right? So cv2.imshow Python comma image, if you are giving. So this img contains the image file. Someone has turned on their mic. Please mute. Participant, please mute your mics. Thank you. So now if I want to display the whole thing, I'm just doing cv2.imshow. So im represents image and show represents the display. And within the bracket, I need to pass two parameters. The first one, Python, it represents the name of the window, comma image is my file name. So img is my file name. So img contains the image file, whatever I have read. Now I'm just passing this img towards the imshow function. So img is my file and Python is the name of the window, right? So if I just run these two lines in the Colab, automatically I will be able to get an image something like this. So here I'm getting an image introduction to Python. This is the py.jpg image that I have, and Python is the window. So this is a basic command that is required. So please remember cv2.imread is used to read the image file. imshow is used to display the image file. And if you want to do some kind of drawings, that is also possible. You can draw line, rectangle, ellipse, whatever thing. You can write some text. All these things can also be done with the help of CV2. So if you want to draw the line, okay, so you need to type the command as CV2. So you have created an object known as CV2. By using the CV2 only, you are doing all these things. For example, in Colab, import CV2, if you have done it, you need to type CV2 dot. So by using these things only, you are doing all the explanations. That is, if you want to draw a line, just go with line. Okay. So if you want to draw circle, just go with circle. So you are basically using the CV2 command to proceed with all these things. So here I want to draw a line. So a line can be drawn with inside an image. Okay, so I just want to have the line construction in a within the image, within the rectangle format. So I'm using a numpy array. Okay, so with unsigned integer. So np.0, I'm just constructing 512 comma 512 comma 3 comma np dot unsigned integer of 8, and I'm passing this image towards as a parameter towards the cv2 dot line, and these are all the coordinates of the line. That is x and y coordinate, x1 y1 x2 y2, the starting point and the ending point, and 255 comma 00, the third one, it represents the there is RGB format for my line. So the first one, it's blue color. 255 means my line will come in blue color. 0 comma 0 means I don't have the option for red and green, so I'm just making it as 0. So only blue color line will apply. After that, comma 5 I have given, it is to represent the thickness of the line. So the first parameter is my complete window. It's my image. I'm just creating an image in which there is a, it may be a canvas or it may be a window. For that only I am creating a numpy array. So this will be the size of my window. The first one, np.0, will be the size of my window. The second one, cv2 dot line, I'm just going to draw the line inside the window. So the first parameter is my window img. Second one, starting and ending coordinate 0, 0, 511, 511 is my starting and the end coordinate of the line. Then 25500, this is the RGB format I'm giving. So if I give 255, I will get dark, there is blue color. Then comma 5 is the thickness of the line. So basically you need to give the image file or the window, then starting and the end coordinate, then RGB formats and the thickness of the line. So same procedure you need to follow whether you are drawing for rectangle or ellipse, circle, whatever it may be. So the only method that needs to be changed is line, rectangle, circle, like that, ellipse. So whatever the thing that you want, you can use the respective methods. Okay, so you can draw. If you want to write something, that is also possible. And if you want to save the image into a different version, okay, I just want to save my pi.jpg into a different version by just changing the edges. That is, I just want to direct only the edges present in my file. So this is my file, right? So this is the original file, but now I just want to convert this particular file to detect only the edges. I don't want the things present inside the file. If it is circle, means only the corner of the circle edges needs to be detected, and the alphabet's introduction to Python, everything I need to detect only the edges. So this I can do it with the help of edge reduction techniques. So how they are doing edge reduction means, as usual, first you just read the file, imread pi.jpg. You just read the file, then cv2.imwrite. Okay, so you have to do a different thing. There is a edges underscore pi.jpg cv2.canny. Within the bracket, you just pass img comma 602 comma 315. So this is the size of the window I just want. Within that, I just want the edge of the edges to be detected. So cv2.canny, the method canny is used to detect the edges present in the whole file. So this canny method can be used for any particular file, not only this file. Even you can pass your human object or car, any object you can pass, and if you call the method canny, you will be able to detect the edges present in the whole object. So this is used particularly whenever you want to detect the objects clearly. Rather than detecting the objects by using color image, if you go with the edge reduction, you can easily detect where the particular object gets located. So that is why normally people will go for edge reduction method. So please apply this method canny and see how you are able to detect the edges. Then if you want to save the detected image into a different file, then go with cv2.imwrite. Within the bracket, you just give edges underscore pi.jpg. So now your image file, whichever I have stored it in img, has been converted into a file named as edges underscore pi.jpg, which contains the edge detected method. Okay, so now my object has been completely detected, which consists of only the edges, and I have saved the file into a different file format known as edges underscore pi.jpg. So you can also save it in different file. That is why we have the method known as imwrite. So imread is used to read the file, and imwrite is used to save the file into a different folder or into a different version or into a different naming. Okay, so you can also save the file into different extension also. That is also possible in imwrite command. Then if we want to work with any image file, the few things that is required in OpenCV is, first of all, we need to know about few classifiers. Okay, so classifiers in the sense, it is a particular technique they apply inside the computer vision to identify all the objects. There is already the classifier contains pre-trained objects. For example, if I want to detect a car as a car, Okay, so as a human being, I'll be able to detect because my brain has already stored the car image. So whenever I see the similar image, I can easily say that this is a car. But how come the system will be able to identify? The same technique we are following. We are already training the system all the objects. So whatever the objects that we want to detect, we are training the systems about all the objects. So the system will be trained on the basic images whatever we want to detect, and that kind of detection technique has been applied in a classifier which is known as hair cascade classifier. There are a lot of classifiers available, but this hair cascade classifier is one such classifier that is widely used inside OpenCV to detect all the objects. So what this classifier has already got means it contains the trained objects of all the images. Okay, suppose if it is a car, water bottle, or whatever you have, for all the objects, they have a wonderful XML file which contains the patterns for all the objects. Okay, I'll show you the pattern. So basically, the hair cascade classifier contains an XML file which contains the definition as well as patterns inside. So they are not doing any magic behind to detect an object. So the logic applied behind is whatever the human brain doing, the same thing, all the objects has been trained and stored inside the classifier. And whenever we are showing the same object, your classifier will be able to compare this particular object with a trained object. Based on that, your system will identify. So this is the formal thing happening, but the logic is they are not comparing an image with the image directly. So then how come this comparison has happened? This comparison has happened with the help of patterns. But in human brain, what we do, we just store the image as such, but behind the logic behind this, we also apply the patterns. It means that all the cars will look same, but the models may be different. For example, your Audi car is completely different from the Shift, but anyway, both belongs to the segmentation known as car, right? So how we are able to identify both as cars? Because the pattern of the cars are similar. Same logic is applied behind the hair cascade classifier. They are storing the pattern, they are identifying the pattern of the particular object. If it is a water bottle, then it should have pattern something like this. If it is a car, it should have a pattern like this. If it is a human being, they should have a pattern something like this. Maybe the height, width, the body weight, all these things can be considered as a pattern. Okay, the actions, everything can be considered as a pattern. So the patterns of all the objects are stored inside an XML file. Whenever this particular pattern matches with the object whatever available in the video or in the image file, your system is able to categorize that particular object. So this is the logic behind the pattern. So these are all the patterns that has been given here in the diagram. There is edge features. They have given a square-like pattern if they want to detect the edges. Then line features. These are all the patterns. Center surrounded features. So these are all the examples for patterns represented in the image form. So let me explain you how this pattern is used by OpenCV. Okay, assume I have a car image. Okay, so I have a car image. I just want to try with the pattern to combine to combine with the pattern that is available in the classifier, and I want to identify the object as car. Okay, so this is the car object. The second one is car object. The pattern is there is whatever we have seen before, line features they are applying. Okay, so they are able to apply. If it is a car, means definitely you will be able to see the front glass with some pattern and the lights. Okay, front lights. So they are applying the pattern with a nameplate. Okay, so front lights followed by the nameplate is as one pattern, and the front glass as one pattern. So if these two patterns are matched or gets matched with a car, then they are processing the particular image to get this match. Okay, so the patterns are compared with the car object. If these two patterns are exactly matched with the car object, automatically your system will be able to identify it is a car. So now this pattern is available in a complete XML file. It is called as cars.xml file. I'll just show you the XML file. So basically don't change anything in this XML file. This XML file has been already built inside your classifiers. So hair cascade classifier, it contains this XML file. So if you open the XML file, you can see that OpenCV hair classifier. Do not change anything in this XML file because it has been already compiled. So how they have generated the pattern, that is available in this XML file. So they have constructed the pattern how to compare the car object. So this XML file has been identified only for car. So if you want to go with the detection of cars, you have to go with cars XML file. If you want to detect the face, then you have to go with another XML file. If you want to detect eyes, there is another XML file. Like this, there are a lot of XML files are available. And I will just open the link for this OpenCV library. So just go through this library and see. And so get some idea about the various classifiers, various XMLs available under OpenCV for this pattern. Just click this. This will give you an idea what are the different XMLs available under OpenCV. Sorry. Sorry, I'll give you another link. So this is the link for OpenCV. Just go through this link. We'll get some idea related to OpenCV. So this OpenCV has been created only for computer vision. So if you're doing any research or project, just go through this particular link. Here they have given a detailed discussion about how they are applying OpenCV. For example, as I say, if you want to detect the eyes, see the pattern they have applied. So the classifier what we are using is hair cascade. This particular classifier is available both for C++, Java as well as Python. They have also given a sample program here. Okay, so you can apply this program. For example, they have done it for face cascade as well as eyes cascade. So a sample program has been given and they have detected the face as well as eyes of a person. Now for the MP4 video file, they have detected. It is in a moving object, they are just detecting the face as well as eyes. So like this, please go through this particular package and you'll be able to know. I just copy this link and put it in the chat box. Please ignore the previous link. Just use this link, docs.opencv.org. It contains the complete details about the OpenCV computer vision package. So you'll be able to see what are the classes that is provided under OpenCV. So we discussed about hair classifier, right? Hair classifier cascade descriptor. If you want to know about this particular classifier, just click this and you'll be able to know the details about what are all the methods it is available. So just know about it. This is not that much required. If you want to do some kind of investigation, you can go with this. Then let me directly move into the thing. So now this kind of pattern is applied inside the hair cascade classifier. So it is able to identify the car object. Okay, so now just let's go through the step-by-step concept of code. The first thing you need to do is read the file using OpenCV and create an instance. This is the first thing that I introduced you. So first you read the line import CV2. So you are able to import the CV2, that is OpenCV package, after your installation. Okay, so import CV2 after your pip install command. If the installation is success, just go with import CV2. Now you can able to use OpenCV inside Python. Maybe you can try these two lines in Colab right now. And if you have any difficulties, you can ask. Then image file is equal to img1.jpg. Okay, so any image file, just open and store it here. If you want to have absolute path, okay, just give it here. If you are doing in Colab, do you know how to upload the files in Colab? Any one of you? Please confirm. If you know, I just leave that. Otherwise, I'll teach you how to upload the files in Google Colab. That is image file. If you want to upload, do you have any idea how to upload the file? Any one of you please confirm? Do you know how to upload an image file in Colab directory? If you don't know, just I will teach you. Okay, no problem, ma'am. So I will just teach you. Just open your Colab directory and just execute these 3 lines so that you will be able to know. I'll just copy these lines in the chat box. Just paste in your Colab. From google.colab, import files, video file is equal to files.upload. So just type these 2 lines in your collaboratory. So I have typed these 2 lines and click the run command. So the line is from google.colab, import files, video file. You can give any name for here, video file, anything you can give it here, equal to files.upload. So files is the package that is available in google.colab to upload all the files that is available in our local system. I think you are familiar with Colab. Colab will not directly consume all the packages that is available in the local system because it is executing from cloud. So you need to upload all the files present in your local system to collaboratory directory, to Colab workspace. So you are supposed to upload all the files present in your local system first. For example, if I want to read any image file means first do these things. So from google.colab, import files, video file is equal to files.upload. So if I run this particular thing, automatically I will get 2 tabs, choose files, cancel upload. So if I want to upload, select this choose file and whatever the image or video file that you want to upload, okay, or XML file, whatever the thing that you want to upload, just upload the particular file. For example, if I want to upload cars.xml, I just want to upload my cars.xml, which is available under the Cascade classifier. Just select this XML file and then click open. Select this XML file and click open. So once you have uploaded successfully, I will just show you once again. For example, I just want to upload this XML file. So I have uploaded. Similar to that, you just want to upload any image file also means just take it from your system, any image file, just select the image file and click upload. Once it is properly uploaded, you will get this 100% done. Able to get? Any one of you please confirm? Madam, we can select only one image from system rather than selecting. Yes, ma'am, every time you have to run. You are supposed to select only one. First upload that particular file and then again select choose file and then go ahead. But you can upload one image. Yes, sir. Whatever you do it in Jupyter Notebook, same thing, sir. Nothing else required, sir. Same thing. Whatever you do it in Jupyter Notebook, you can follow the same procedure in Colab. Okay, sir. So I think you are able to upload the file. As of now, just upload one file and see whether you are getting the message as 100% done. Something like this. I have uploaded successfully cars.xml and I should get the display as 100% done. It means that cars.xml has been uploaded into the collaboratory directory. So if you want to upload any other file, again execute this particular line and you just keep on uploading whatever the files you want for the collaboratory directory. So I have uploaded cars.xml as well as I have uploaded another video file for detecting, that is traffic.mp4. I have uploaded a video file also I have uploaded. So you can upload any file, image file, video file, audio file, anything you can upload into your collaboratory workspace if you want to work. So once this thing is over, shall we go ahead? So if you are able to upload all these things, so once you have uploaded, I got my image file, right? Now I just want to read the image file. Okay, so img is equal to cv2.imread. Within the bracket, I'm just giving the image file because this is the image 1.jpg I have uploaded, and I can directly give the file also, no problem. Suppose if I have uploaded cars.jpg or whatever the image, just give the name of the file, whatever you have uploaded, so that you can read the particular file. So first read the file to do other process. So now I have read the file successfully. After this, you can go with the rest of the things. So first you have uploaded the file, you have read the file. After completing these two tasks, you are supposed to define the classifier. That is the second task you have to do it. Okay. So I have discussed enough about classifiers, right? So as I said, each one of the object contains a classifier. For example, if it is a car object, we have a classifier known as cars.xml. If it is a pedestrian, we need to load pedestrian.xml. So if it is a face, we have an XML for face. So for each and every object, we have a pre-trained XML files available in the hair cascade classifier. So you can also browse the hair cascade classifier to know about what are all the different XML files they have, pre-trained XML files they have, so that you can detect all the pre-trained objects here. So now I just want to pass only this cars.xml file. I just want to detect only the car. Okay. So the second step is you need to convert the color image to the gray image. Why we are doing this particular thing means whenever we process the color image, it will take too much time. But whenever I process the gray image, that is a black and white image, the processing time will be less. That is why I'm converting all the RGB images, that is colored images, to my black and white images, that is gray color images, to make the processing much faster. So I'm using cv2.cvt color. The conversion method is cvt, convert color, cvt. So cv2 is the object name, dot cvt color, convert color. Within the bracket, you have to pass image. Okay, whatever the image that you want to convert into black and white, then comma cv2 dot, within the uppercase, you have to type color underscore bgr to gray. So BGR is blue, green, red to gray. We are just converting. So CV2 contains the method named as color underscore BGR to gray. So now I'm able to convert my color image into the black and white. There is the gray color image. Then step 4 is what you are supposed to do. Now you are supposed to create a track for each and every object separately. For example, in my video file or in my image, I can have so many objects like human being, a car, a bus. I can have so many objects, but I want to create a track for each and every individual entity. For example, if I want to detect car, I have to load the car.xml. If I want to detect human, I need to load a separate XML. Like that, now I am creating a separate tracker. So how this is done means I am calling the method known as cv2.cascade classifier method, and within the bracket I am passing this car underscore classifier. What is this car underscore classifier contains? It contains the XML file of the object. So car underscore classifier contains the cars.xml file, which is available under the hair cascade classifier. Okay, you can download this cars.xml separately and you can upload. Okay, like what I have done. If you go to the hair cascade classifier, you will be able to download all types of XMLs. So just download the XML file and keep it inside your folder. Again, if you want to work in Google Colab, upload this cars.xml separately. So now I have stored the cars.xml in the object, in the variable known as car underscore classifier. So now I'm passing this car underscore classifier into the method cv2.cascade classifier. So now the result will be stored in the car tracker. So now I will be able to detect the car by using the car tracker object. Similarly, if I want to do pedestrian tracker, I need to apply the pedestrian.xml. Okay, I need to pass the pedestrian.xml And finally, I am passing the pedestrian underscore classifier into the method cascade classifier. So this is the process that you need to do it if you want to detect any object inside the file. Okay. Then final thing is you need to apply the method known as detect multi-scale. Why we are applying this particular method means to identify the position of the particular object. A car can be in different position. Similarly, a bus can be in different position, right? So you are able to applying the detect multi-scale method. So by that you will be able to see the exact image. Okay, so for that I'm calling cars underscore tracker, that is car underscore tracker dot detect multi-scale. Within that I'm passing gray underscore image. This is the original image file that I have. Then pedestrian underscore tracker dot detect multi-scale gray underscore image. So now I'm just printing the cars print pedestrian. So I will be able to detect the particular object after applying all these steps. But I need to iterate. Suppose if there are a lot of cars available in that from the step-by-step code walkthrough.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Previous step, ma'am.
Previous step. Oh, okay. Okay, ma'am, let me continue here. So they are applying the pattern to continue to identify the object. So car means it contains the front glass as well as the front light. So here the pattern is applied on both these things. If the pattern exactly matches with the object, then it has been identified as car. So this is the way that hair cascade classifier is working. So to have a step-by-step code walkthrough, first of all, we need to do certain things. First, you import the CV2 file. Okay, so import the CV2. After successfully installing the OpenCV, probably you can able to import CV2. Then you just read your image file. So image underscore file is equal to image1.jpg. By uploading also you can do it. So after uploading the image file, just read it by using cv2.imread and pass the image file. So imread is used to read the file. So this reading process is done. Then go ahead with the construction of classifier. So what this classifier has, it contains all the pre-trained XML files. For example, if you want to detect car object means you have to compulsorily load the cars.xml file. If you want to detect human being means you have to load the XML file which contains the patterns for human being. So each and every object has its own pattern, and this pattern has been designed inside the XML file. I showed you the XML file, right? Cars.xml, right? No need to repeat it, right? Cars.xml file. Did I show to that? Did I show the file to you? Cars.xml file. How it looks? So cars.xml file, it is present inside the hair cascade classifier. If you want, you can download the cars.xml file. So this is the XML file that is available. If you open the cars.xml file, it contains the pattern that has been built for car. Okay, so please do not change anything in this file. From the hair cascade classifier, you just download the cars.xml file. Even if you Google, okay, if you type hair cascade classifier and if you type cars.xml, you will be able to download. Otherwise, you directly go to, you can also get it through GitHub. All the XML files are available, or else you can directly go to the classifier and you can download. Okay, so download any particular object by just browsing. There is, if you want to detect an object, then download the respective XML file. So I have downloaded the cars.xml file and I have kept it in my directory. Please do not make any changes in this particular file because it contains the patterns for the car. So we are not able to identify what they have done. They have just constructed the car object through the XML file. That's it. So this XML file is used to detect and construct the pattern. So once this is this step you have done, okay, cars.xml you have downloaded. Then just upload into your Google Colab. Okay, cars.xml has been uploaded. Similarly, if you want to detect pedestrian, if you want to detect human being, if you want to detect face, whatever you just want, just extract the particular XML file and then keep it inside a variable. So now car underscore classifier equal to cars.xml, pedestrian classifier equal to pedestrian.xml. Like that, you build and define the classifier as the first part. Second one, convert your there is a blue green, there is a RGB format file into the gray, that is gray image, because if you process the gray image, that will be much faster. So you are supposed to convert the RGB image towards the gray image. So how to do the conversion means cv2.cvt color, within the bracket you pass image comma cv2 dot color underscore bgr to gray. So image contains the image file, whichever I have, comma cv2 dot color underscore bgr to gray. So I am just converting blue, green, red to gray color image. When I execute this particular line, my colored image will be converted into gray image. After this particular line, you are supposed to construct a tracker. So how to construct a tracker means, if you want to detect multiple objects, you are supposed to construct tracker for each and every object. For example, in my image, I have human being, I have car, I have bus, I have lorry, I have lot of vehicles. I just want to detect all the objects. So construct tracker for each and every object. So car underscore tracker equal to cv2 dot cascade classifier. So for all the things, we are going to use the method known as cascade classifier. So cv2 dot cascade classifier, within the bracket you pass car underscore classifier. So what is this car underscore classifier contains means, it contains the XML file. Here also, if I want to track the pedestrian, pedestrian underscore tracker is equal to cv2 dot cascade classifier, within the bracket you pass pedestrian classifier. So pedestrian underscore classifier contains the pedestrian.xml. So like this, whatever the object you want to detect, you just pass all the classifier objects here through the method cascade classifier. So once you have designed the tracker, then you are supposed to identify the position of the object, where the particular object is located. That can be done with a method known as detect multiscale. Okay, so car underscore tracker, use this particular object dot detect multiscale. You just call the method detect multiscale, and within the bracket you pass gray underscore image. Okay, so for this particular object, you are detecting the position. Similarly, for pedestrian also, you are detecting the position by calling the method known as detect multiscale. Okay, so like this, you detect all the objects. Now, if you want to mark the position of the object, where the particular object located, okay, this can be done by marking a rectangular or by drawing a square, right? So this can be done by calling the method known as cv2.rectangle. So if I want to draw a rectangle means, definitely I need the width and height of the object, right? Similarly, I need the x and the y coordinates. So I'm passing the values x comma y, w comma h in cars. So cars contains the complete object what I have detected after applying the method detect multiscale. So now I am passing for x, y, w, h in cars, cv2 dot rectangle. Just pass the image which contains the cars, comma x, comma y, to mention the coordinate to draw the rectangle. Then x plus w, comma y plus h, comma 0, comma 255, comma 0 used to represents the RGB color, comma 2 used to represents the thickness of the line. Okay, then I just want to write something in above the rectangle as car, this is human being, this is pedestrian, this is apple. I just want to write the object name also. So I'm using the method known as put text, and I'm passing the string whatever I want to write. So image comma car comma x comma y minus 10. I just mentioning the position where the particular letter needs to appear. Then cv2 dot font underscore Hershey underscore simplex. This is the font style I am using to write the word known as car, followed by the position, the coordinates, and the RGB color of the text. okay, and thickness of the line. So after calling the put text method, if I execute the particular that is a program, I'll be able to see the rectangle that is appeared in the object. Then for x, y, comma w, comma h in pedestrian, if I want to apply where the pedestrian is available, I just want to see the human. Okay, write the text as human, then I'm just marking the same thing. Like this, you can go ahead. Finally, if you want to display the image, just call the method cv2.imshow my deduction comma img cv2.waitKey. There is a, it's just a keystroke to exit the complete window. That is where you are calling the cv2.waitKey, otherwise the process will run. So you are displaying the image by using cv2.imshow. So this is the final result when you do, like I get the rectangle, because I have marked 0, 255, 0 for drawing the rectangle. So I'm getting green color. And in the top of the rectangle, I have written the put text method by writing car as a word. Then for detecting the human being, I have used a red color rectangle. So here if you see 0, 0, 255 here I have used for the rectangle. Similarly, the font I have written is human. Here I have used 0, 255, 0. So for this I am getting green color rectangle, and here I am getting red color one. And I have written human for this rectangle. So I am able to write this is human being, this is car. Like this, whatever the object that you want to detect, just construct the XML and you can go ahead. So I just repeat the steps once again. First, you upload all your image files into your Google Collaboratory or Jupyter Notebook or your Python editor anywhere. And you need to define the classifier as the second step. Whatever the object that you want to detect, you need to download the respective XML file. For example, cars.xml file, pedestrian.xml file, all these XML files are pre-trained XML files available in Hair Cascade classifier. So just download the particular classifier and keep it in your own folder. Third step is convert all your RGB image into the gray image to make much processing faster. Fourth step is you need to use the cascade classifier. You are just constructing the track for each and every object separately. So if you want to detect car, construct a separate classifier, cv2.cascade classifier, and pass the XML file as an object. Similarly, pedestrian tracker. After that, if you want to detect the position of the particular object, use the method known as detect multiscale. So after calling the cascade classifier method, you are calling the method known as detect multiscale. Now, if you want to mark the position, you just use the rectangle or any other object. You can also draw circle, no problem. So just call the method cv2.rectangle. Since I have done it in rectangle, I'm just using xywh, and I'm just mentioning the position of the rectangle and the color of the rectangle as well as the thickness of the rectangle. Above that, if I want to write the font, I'm just calling the method put text. So finally, I'm calling the method known as cv2.imshow. Okay, if you are using in Google Collaboratory, then just go with the different method known as cv2_imshow. Because cv2.imshow is not working perfectly in Collaboratory. So just go with if you are working in Collaboratory, instead of .imshow, you just go with cv2_imshow. So now we have done with everything. So after calling the method imshow, okay, finally you call the method cv2.waitKey. So this will stop the process and you can exit from the window after detection. So final method need to be called as cv2.waitKey. So that's it. We have detected the object after executing this kind of program. So now I have just uploaded the image file. So from the image file, I'll be able to detect the car image as well as the pedestrian, that is human being. This is the final outcome. I received it. So any queries here, or shall I proceed?
Oh, madam?
Yes, sir.
Sharply you stop at 3:30. Okay, madam. 3:30
Fine,
is
sir.
last
Fine,
15.
sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir, no problem. So shall I proceed? Is it clear? You want me to show that cars.xml file? Someone has written the message. So this is the cars.xml file, sir. This I have downloaded from internet. If you search, you will be able to get this. Otherwise, in hair classifier, there is OpenCV hair classifier package also. This is available, but download it externally, sir. If you are working in Colab or if you are working in Jupyter Notebook, download this XML file separately. But we couldn't understand anything from this XML file. It's hard to understand because here they have just replicated all the patterns present in the object. So I do not have that much idea how they have constructed this XML file. So this is the XML file. So please do not make any changes to this XML file. They have constructed this XML file for building the pattern. So if it is a car object, means they are building the pattern by using this XML file. Why they have constructed various nodes means each and every cars have different models. So based on the almost available models, they have constructed, I think they have tree level up to 25, 29, I think. So each and every tree, it represents a separate model of the car. So tree 29 can be matched to one particular car. Tree 28 can be mapped to a particular car. So like this, they are constructing the pattern. So that's it I know about cars.xml.
Ma'am, in
Sure.
that image, ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
in that image, one a pedestrian person is not identified as ma'am. How can we improve the efficiency, accuracy? One person.
If you want to completely, this can be detected, madam. This is not accuracy related problem. If I execute in a loop wise, okay, continuously execute, this will also be detected.
Okay, ma'am.
This is not error, ma'am. Automatically this will be detected. You need to execute the program in a loop wise.
Okay.
If the person is far behind the image, something near the tree, then maybe it cannot be detected. That is, if the object size is very less, then this problem will occur. But if you see the car, even the car that is behind the car, able to identify, right? So the object size, if it is very small, difficult to identify. Otherwise, this can also be identified, madam. No problem. If you run both the things, you will get rectangle. Similar to this car, you will get double rectangle.
This actually, this classifier is exclusive for pattern identification. Is it not?
Exactly, ma'am. Yes, cars.xml will identify only car. Human pedestrian.xml will identify only the human being walking on the road. Similarly, we have lot of reduction. Lot of XML files are available, like face reduction, eye reduction, then like motion detection. Everything we have a separate XML file.
Okay.
I'll show you for face and eye detection also.
Okay.
So let's see detecting the faces in Python computer vision. So here I'm using the another XML file. Please make a note of this file. Hair cascade underscore frontal face underscore default.xml. So you can download this particular XML file. I just copy this file. You can download this particular XML file and keep it here. Definitely, I will share my PPT. Please execute the program and see. I will upload the program also, directly the program also. I have typed in the chat box hair cascade underscore frontal face underscore default.xml. This particular XML file is used for detecting the face. If you want to detect the face of a human being, then you need to download this particular XML. Hair cascade underscore frontal face underscore default.xml. I have given the complete path here. Since I have downloaded separately, I have given the complete path underscore the method. There is cv2 dot cascade classifier. Within the bracket, I have given hair cascade underscore frontal face underscore default.xml. Now I'm just passing the image file. So I have passed the image file known as mel.jpg. So this is the image file. This is the image I have passed it mel.jpg. So CV2, I'm just reading the image. That is the first step I need to do it. Normally, this file reading, converting the color image to gray, and detecting the multiscale, all these three methods are common throughout the object detection program. So if you remember these three methods, you can write the program. That's all. First, you are reading the file. Second, you are converting the file into blue-green, and that is gray color. Then you are calling the method known as detect multiscale. So detect multiscale, you are just converting the gray image. Okay, you are just identifying the position of the image, performing the detection. Then marking the file by using cv2.rectangle. So since it is rectangle, I'm passing the image as well as the color of the rectangle and followed by thickness of the line. Then finally, I just want to save the file in a different file name, cv2.im write face underscore mel.jpg image. So now if I execute this particular thing, this is the output that I'm getting. So able to detect the face of the person. So this is done with the help of the XML known as hair cascade underscore frontal face underscore default.xml. Similar thing is next one. If I want to detect eye, I have a different XML for that. So hair cascade underscore eye.xml. So this XML I have to download it, hair cascade underscore eye.xml. Same thing, we are just reading the file, converting into gray color, call the method detect multiscale, then I'm drawing the rectangle. So now the result is something like this. So I have detected the eyes of an object. So if you pass any image, you will be able to detect eyes. Similar things, you will be able to detect whether a particular person is smiling or he is angry. Like that, you will be able to detect emotions also. For that also, you have a separate XML file. What kind of activity particular person is doing, like smiling or angry, sad, like that. A lot of things are available in that motion detection. So you'll be able to detect the emotions also from that file. So shall I go ahead? How to process the video file? Shall we see that also? And then quickly I stop. I don't think that we can go ahead.
Ma'am,
Yes, sir.
ma'am, regarding this detection, only the shape it is getting identified, or else the specification of other parameters like intensity of that images also can be considered.
Shape, in the sense, shape alone, there is a particular object you can detect. What do you mean by intensity of the object in the sense? I
Like
couldn't.
the color variation, like that and also blurring images, is it possible of identifying?
Blurred image. That is what
Blurring.
you can directly do with the edge detection. Filters, directly by using filters, you can do it, madam. Classifiers, you are just using only to classify the object. What
Okay.
kind of object it is.
Whatever
That one,
specification as like a compiler
yes.
we have given, that based on that
Yes.
it will identify.
Yeah, classifier is only used to classify the objects. It will classify and put it in a folder. These are all the face objects, like your Google Photos able to identify now, madam. Similar to that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So you can detect only the objects, but if you want to convert, you are asking about image processing. That you can do it directly with OpenCV, not with the classifiers. For that, classifiers is not required. Directly, OpenCV is contains lot of image processing packages like OpenCV filters, edge detection, CANI. All these methods are directly available. If you want to process the image, just use the method OpenCV. Got it, ma'am? So for classification alone, you just go to this package. Okay. Otherwise, XML file and all not required when you want to go with the that particular thing. Okay. So
Yes,
now let me move how to process the video file. So far we have discussed only with the image file. So let me show how to process a video file. Just whatever the video file that you have, just upload the video file into a separate folder and keep it in a variable. After that, you call the method known as cv2.videoCapture. This is the method that is available to read the video file. So once IM read is used to read the image file, but video capture is the method that is used to read the video file, because reading video file is completely different. You have to read frame by frame. Suppose if so many cars are passing means, all the videos has been converted into a frames, and each and every frame has been read to identify the car. So for that, we are using the method known as cv2.video capture, and within the bracket, I'm just passing the file IP_file. So this contains the MP4 video. Not only .mp4, you can also go with AVI or any type of video file. So just pass the video file inside the method video capture. Once this is done, then you can, I'll just show the program directly, which I have done it in the Colab. So this program, I just share it with you. So here, first of all, I have uploaded the file. There is a similar to this, whatever the classifier we have done. Here also, I need the video file to be uploaded. So if I want to upload the traffic file, so I have a file known as traffic.mp4. So this is the particular file that I have uploaded into my collaboratory directory. I just want to detect the objects. So I have uploaded the file. Then after that, I just want to upload the cars.xml also, because I just want to detect the pattern cars.xml. After that, you just got the different thing. So the first video is contains so many cars. So I have uploaded another short video also, which contains only 2 cars. So just upload this particular file. Then after uploading the file, upload the cars.xml also, cars.mp4. After doing these 2 things, now you are supposed to read the video frame by frame. So for that, I'm calling the method known as cv2.video capture. Then I'm using the there is variable known as vc, which contains the frames of the video file. vc dot is opened. I'm just checking whether the file gets opened, and I'm just reading the files in a frame by frame. So rval comma frame is equal to vc dot read. So I'm reading each and every frame. I'm putting in a variable known as rvalue. Then while rval, there is when it is false, I'm just skipping. Otherwise, I'm just reading the complete frame and I'm storing the value in rval. After that, the normal process we need to repeat. For the video file, no need to make the color conversion. There is a colored thing to black. There is a gray color, because converting each and every frame again to gray color is a high computational one. So no need to do that. Just get the frame and then apply the method detect multiscale directly. So now phase underscore cascade dot detect multiscale. So this phase underscore cascade, it contains cv2.cascade classifier of my cars.xml. That's it. So just pass this phase cascade dot detect multiscale and pass the frame whatever you have detected. So this frame is continuously passed in a loop wise. So while loop is executing the complete video, and every frame gets executed for this detect multiscale method. So now frame comma 1.2 comma 2. So this is identified for the particular car object. So I'm just marking where the particular object is available. So detect multiscale method is used to identify the object present in the frame. So now I have marked 1.2 comma 2. Then to mark the particular object, I'm drawing the rectangle cv2 dot rectangle. cv2 dot rectangle frame comma x comma y, x plus y comma y plus h, 0 comma 0 comma 255 comma 2. Okay. Then n cars is equal to n cars plus 1. If I have 2 cars, then it will be executed for 2 cars. Then finally, I am just displaying the result by using cv2 underscore imshow. This method I am using for Colab. If you are using for Python, you go with cv2 dot imshow directly. Then pass this frame object in the cv2 underscore imshow. If there is no image, this particular error, it happens in Colab. So I'm just saying that if the frame does not have any image, then I'm asking the loop to break. Otherwise, I'm just continuing with the same thing. im3.img copy. I'm just making it to copy the same object. Then cv2.wait key and release key. Wait key to exit and release to quit the complete program, complete video. So vc.release will close the video file, whatever we are reading. So this is what the process we are doing. So once we have done and execute the program and see, you'll be able to see the cars, 2 cars that has been detected in the MP4 file. So you can able to detect in MP4 or AVI or any kind of video file. This is widely applied when you use CCTV camera or your web camera, whatever it may be, whenever you have video files that you can process directly. And probably you can also directly detect objects in webcam, that can also be done possible, as well as CCTV also directly possible. Without extracting the video, directly also you can run the program. So I think the time is 3:30. So we have done only with the object detection technique. I need time to complete data visualization. So probably, shall I handle it in next class, sir? Next session?
Okay, madam.
Okay. Someone has
Okay,
asked
madam.
if we have new images,
Any
how to
doubts?
create XML from it. For this, I have no answer, sir, because this has been constructed directly from the hair cascade classifier. So we need to understand the logic, how they have constructed the XML. Based on that, we have to redefine it. It's a kind of research work. But we can do it, sir. We can construct the XML, but we need to do some kind of research how they have detected the pattern. Based on that, we can build it. By constructing the XML is not a problem. We have done it. We have done it for number plate detection, sir. All the number plates we tried to build our own pattern, but we hardly found difficult to build the pattern. But it's a kind of research work. You can build your own XML files, sir. So just go through the CAS XML file based on the identification. First of all, you need to identify which particular object you want to detect. For example, if it is a mobile phone, means you need to understand the pattern of all mobile phones, sir. That need to be done with the help of the edges which I showed in the first slide, sir. So the patterns can be simulated. I can give you one clue. Please follow that. This is the one thing that you can use it to construct the pattern, sir. These features, edge features, line features, center surrounded features. These are all the features that is used inside the XML file. So based on the pattern of the image, just go ahead and apply the features, sir. So edge feature, you just refer the XML file to build the edge feature. Similarly for line feature and center surrounded. So that you can detect customized object also. You can write your own XML. That is possible, but you need to identify the exact pattern by using these 3 things.
Madam, all are asking PPT immediately upload.
Sure, sir. I will immediately. Not through chat box. I will send it to your mail ID, sir, to the
Okay.
mail ID.
Now itself you send it,
Yes.
madam. After
And the
finishing.
program I will send it, sir. The sample program, whatever I have showed you.
Okay.
And the cars.xml file also I will send you. Everything I will send to you separately, sir. Please execute the program and see. That's it. Any other queries? Shall we wind up the session, sir?
Okay, madam. Thank you for a wonderful, nice session.
Thank
All
you
the
so much,
parts,
sir.
your team, that is why we given that majority session to your team for your practical session. Okay,
Thank
madam.
you, sir. Sure.
Thank
Everyone
you.
will give the practical thing only. Thank you all.
Uh,
Thanks,
all the
professors,
parts,
for patience
all the
listening in this afternoon session. I thought
all,
that afternoon session will be boring, but anyway, you made it as a wonderful interactive session. Thank you so much.
all the
Uh,
participants are putting in the chat box. Excellent,
yes, sir.
excellent,
Thank you.
wonderful, wonderful. I am very happy.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So I will share all the files immediately to your email, sir. Please
Thank you.
execute the program and see. I will share my collaboratory. There is notebook file also. You can execute and see.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Okay,
Parties,
sir.
audience participants, please be there in the link. Madam only leave, madam.
Sure,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Okay, madam. They told if anything you want to install, means you will inform previously like that. participants is putting the chat.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Please share me the recording if possible, sir, after the session.
Okay. I will give, madam. I will
Okay,
give.
sir. Thank you.
Madam, you stop your presentation.
Sure,
then
sir. Sure.